Ukraine destroyed the bases, military bases of allegedly Wagner group.
Yeah.
Well, Odessa, first of all, is located close to the sea, and if it seems that it is in the south and it might be relatively warm there, but then the winds are quite cold. So I would assume, first of all, that it would affect not only the daily life of people, but also, the heating system, which is quite crucial. The temperatures are now dropping dramatically in Ukraine. So partially the electricity the power has been restored. Well, the local authorities are saying that it might be that they won't be able to have the power. They will have these emergency power cuts for the next months. It's hard because you may see right now the electricity. You may see the light here, but in my room in particular. But then we have emergency power cuts quite often, unexpectedly. They don't follow the schedule, so it affects our life in terms of work, in terms of basic, let's say, picking up water or from the street, from outside. It's cold. It's it's hard. I mean, I would say that people endure, but it's annoying not to have electricity when you need it, right?
Do you think? Do you find that living in Ukraine, that is what Russia's really going for? That by attacking the power supply, that's how they're trying to demoralize, make sad the Ukrainian population. Do you feel that's a real obvious area for Russia? They're going after your power supplies.
Yes, of course, because first of all, they announced it. Peskov announced it as well, that they do it deliberately in order to push Ukraine for negotiations. Now you also see in some Western publications information that there are allegedly people in Ukraine, I don't know where they take the numbers, that are happy to start negotiations with Putin. But this is not true. I understand that the war in Ukraine affects many countries in Europe, but that's not true that people in Ukraine would be willing to negotiate with Kremlin. Look, for example, as I mentioned, there are indeed power cuts, right? And it's hard. I mean, well, you go to work in the cafe, which has generator, but they kick you out after 3 hours. How many things you can do in 3 hours? Like, how many things you can do? Okay, you can take shower without electricity, right? Probably in the darkness. But it's hard to eat. It's hard to cook because, but people don't complain. I mean, I know I have a lot of friends, and also Facebook has been always the platform for people to complain, but I don't have anyone who would be complaining about current situation. Everyone is waiting for the better progress on the front line of Ukrainian front line, and the victory.
And just on that note, do you expect this to be a really slower over winter, that you've got to dig yourself in for a long winter, because there is still clearly some fighting going on, but do you expect that fighting to slow as the weather gets worse, and ultimately Ukrainians have got to try and survive the winter and hope for further progress in the spring?
Look, as a rule, the escalation normally happens in February. This is the time when the land, the earth is very strong, and it's possible to conduct certain military operations with the use of heavy equipment, right, heavy vehicles. But our authorities, Ukrainian authorities, promised there will be the counteroffensive operation planned for spring with liberation of Crimea, Donetsk, and Lugansk. What else is happening? You see that in the course of a couple of days, Ukraine destroyed the bases, military bases of allegedly Wagner group, which has been quite harsh on the direction of Bakhmut. So it might be the signs of the operation. Besides of the counteroffensive operation. Besides, Ukraine has retreated. The brigades have been operating on the front line recently. They're announcing about it publicly, so they might be bringing new, fresh troops to the front line to wrap up their operation in Bakhmut.
Yeah. So there's still things going on in preparation for a big spring offensive. Kateryna, thank you for joining us this morning. Look after yourself.